Hey kids, John here. I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about mouthpieces. In my Mouthpiece Basics video, I talk about finding a mouthpiece in a very simple way, discussing finding the right rim, diameter-wise and comfort-wise, and the right cup, which is depth and sound-wise. That's a lot of what it really is about. But there are times where we're looking for either more performance or a better sound, or to play a different style, or a different type of playing, and we're very much looking for something different, something better. And when this happens, we find ourselves on a Mouthpiece Safari.
There are an awful lot of mouthpieces out there, and the choices are very vast and can be very confusing. So I have a couple things that I would suggest that you do when you start looking at finding a better or a different mouthpiece.
If I was going to go on a Mouthpiece Safari, I'd want to have some information. If I was going on a real safari, I'd want a lot of information, and I'd like to get a guide. So I'd do a bunch of reading and research about both topics, the safari itself and who good guides are. Arm yourself with familiarity of mouthpieces themselves. This involves going into websites and reading about them. I'd first go to Bach and Scholke, and there's a reason for that that I will get to in a moment. I'd just read the general information about their mouthpieces. I'd read descriptions and just get to know what they are, understand the way their numbers work, and how that company set up their mouthpiece line. Then after I'd done that, I'd probably go to, five boutique, if you will, mouthpiece makers like Warburton and Reeves and GR and Marcinkiewicz and Stomvi-USA, Curry, whatever. 5 might seem like a lot, but the reason you're doing it is to gain familiarity with their mouthpiece line and with mouthpiece descriptions. In the boutique builders, or the mouthpiece makers, if you will, they're going to have more detailed descriptions about mouthpieces. Starting with the rims, they're going to talk about what this rim is, maybe what it's a copy of, and they're going to show the rim diameter, the ID, the inside diameter. Just because it says it's a .655 doesn't mean it's the same .655 as the one that you play. I'm a 2XL. I walk into the store, I go to the 2XL rack, but I don't expect every 2XL to fit me right, because I have a very unique shape, you know? Because mouthpieces are shapes and rims are shapes. So the question is it a wide rim? In other words, the distance from the inside, is the distance from the inside of the rim to the outside of the rim wide? Or is it narrow? Is it wide or is it narrow? Is it rounded? Is it flat? And then the question is, when it drops into the cup, what's the entry angle like?
Some have very shallow or not very steep, if you will, entry angles, and then others will have a very steep entry angle, and it's going to seem like it actually might even go backwards almost.
So the shape of the rim is very important, from the outer edge to the entry angle of the rim. It's going to determine quite a few things: how it feels, how it plays, possibly articulation. There's those that believe you need the sharper entry angle as opposed to the softer entry angle for articulation. That may or may not be true for you. On GR's site, he talks about alpha angle, and I know I'm talking about entry angle. Just know they're the same thing. Understand that in 1945, Justin Rudiger developed a patent that mathematically defined the mouthpiece through shapes. And he talked about smooth angles, and he talked about, airflow and getting better circulation on his mouthpiece. So all these things, though they may seem new to us, have been introduced to us before, and common verbiage is entry angle. You can use alpha angle. Works. Both work. Let's take a look at cup depths and shapes.
They have different shapes, okay? So when you're taking a look at these websites, you're going to be seeing some descriptions about the cups. Again, you've got very shallow, which this one is. It's quite shallow. And this one is rather deep. There are tools out there that can take measurements of the depths of cups. A little bit awkward for me, but there you go. Okay, there's the measurement of that particular cup. As you can see, you drop the device down into it, set it down. But this doesn't, again, it's a number. What does it feel like?
Okay, so we can actually measure cup depth, but what does it really mean? There's shapes, they're going to react to the way you play. How do we figure out what, cup depth is for us? Well, I'll get to that in a moment. You're going to get these descriptions like deep V, deep bowl cup, deep whatever, deep, medium V, V cup, shallow V. What you're looking at is an attempt to describe partially the shape and how deep they are. That's the type of individual description you're going to get off the cups. After the cup, you're going into the throat. Well, that's what most mouthpiece manufacturers call the bore, okay? And that's the hole.
So here's a set of tools that you can use to measure the bore. Once again, it's a measurement that just simply tells us, boom, there we go. That's it. There's my bore. It happens to be 24. Happens to be a 24. But this doesn't mean much to me as a single number.
Now, we can argue that it is a simple number, but it also is attached to shapes in front of it and behind it. So to say that you're a 25 throat or you're a 27, it's part of a component. It's part of an entire system. And to define that one number as what you have to be cautious about doing that. I don't even know what bores on a single one of my mouthpieces because it doesn't matter to me because it's an entire system. So after the bore or the throat, you come into the back bore. And the back bores are shapes. And in the descriptions on the boutique manufacturers' websites, you're going to see symphonic back bore, commercial back bore, our most open back bore, our tightest back bore. And they're trying to give a description to help you kind of hone in on what you're looking for. Okay. I don't think you can go through the buffet line and say, yeah, I like a little of that rim, throw in some of that cup, I'll take a little of that throat, yeah, give me that back bore, and oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, I don't want too much of that entry angle there. You're not ordering dinner. I don't think this is a good approach. Here's what I think is a good approach. So you've studied these sites and you've read a little bit about the individual components, but more importantly, read about the overall mouthpiece description. This is huge. They're telling you, great for symphonic players. Oh, excellent commercial mouthpiece. Our shallowest commercial mouthpiece, whatever. So they're giving you excellent descriptions about what the mouthpiece is used for. And the most killer thing that's on all these websites is you're going to get comparison charts. You're going to get to see what it compares to. Oh, here's where we go back to Bach and Schulke. You can go into a store and try Bach and Schulke, and you could try the difference between a Bach 3D and a Schulke 14A4A and play them and feel which one you like better. Now you're kind of leaning towards a direction, both rim-wise, because they're both different rim shapes, cup shapes, a lot of different things. So you can use comparison charts and standard mouthpieces to start hone in. If it was me, and I was looking for a commercial mouthpiece, I wouldn't ask on a forum or a page or a group, hey, what's a good lead mouthpiece? I'd go to a store and try, say, a Schulke 14A4A, a Schulke 13A4A, and a Schulke 6A4A or A, whatever. All right, I try those mouthpieces and find out which mouthpiece can I play the best and which cup can I go all the way down to a 6 without any problem? Oh man, I can play a 6. Well, you're going to be living in a very shallow area. Okay, but if the 6 you bottom out, in other words, in the cup, your lip touches in the cup and it shuts you down, well, you're pushing into the cup too much and a 6A is too small for you. And then I would exclude in my search on all sites mouthpieces that were shallower or compared to, let's say it's a S6A. I can't play it. Okay, I'm going to exclude that area. You're vectoring in on your target, as the military says. And then you play things that are bigger than the 14 and find out, oh, no, these cups are too, they're not giving me the sound I want. So now you've got a bandwidth or a range of mouthpiece that you're looking for. You're narrowing your search field. All these mouthpieces that are shallower than this and all these mouthpieces that are deeper than that, I'm going to rule out. And now you can go back to those boutique websites and actually take a look at the mouthpieces within that range that you've discovered that you like. Aha. And now this is what you can do. Let's say I was looking for a mouthpiece that was right between a Schilke 14A4A and a 13A4A. Hello, Mr. Warburton Marcinkowitz Radke. Yeah. I'm looking for a mouthpiece that's somewhere between a 14A4A and 13A4A. I really kind of like the way that the Schilke 14A4A played, but I like the sound of the 13A a little bit better. You know, and then you have a conversation, and they're going to help guide you. This is the guide for the Safari. Is the mouthpiece manufacturer. What you've got to do is figure out where you want to go and have the Safari. Just leaving the front door and walking aimlessly into the streets, asking people on the street, hey, where should I go? Do some research and you can figure it out. Same thing with the classical. If you're looking for a hardcore classical, go play a bunch of Bachs. Find out how deep of a cup you can actually function on. And then, you know, you're going to set your parameters again. You're going to have a bandwidth or a range of mouthpieces. You've eliminated all the ones that are shallower and some of the ones that are deeper. Okay? And now you've got a bandwidth and you can hone in on these and you can make the phone call. Do your research. Get the descriptions. Use the descriptions to help you understand about the mouthpieces. Then go play some mouthpieces and be able to cross-reference them through the mouthpiece comparison charts so you can hone in and start asking questions and narrow your field or vector in on your target, and you will have greater success finding a good mouthpiece. I hope all this helps. Take it easy, kids.